Well, the end of days, third temple in Jerusalem, is promised by God. The Apostle John, in this portion, chapter 11, weaves together the longest Old Testament prophecies about Israel's future. Israel's future is all about this coming temple, about the fact it prompts all the nations of the world, and remember, God doesn't exaggerate, all the nations of the world, led by Iran and joined by all the others, march on Jerusalem, led by the man, the beast, the one who gives the mark, the worst man who ever lived. This Antichrist gets the entire world to want to live out the hatred of Satan and destroy Israel. It's amazing to think about. By the way, on that picture you can see on the left, that's an artist's representation of what Solomon's temple looked like, which he probably built from about 950, or about 970, to 950 BC. And then, of course, Herod's temple, which was from about 20 BC until about 26 AD. And then, of course, these two have not yet been built, but are yet in the future. And so this prophetic description of a third temple, the tribulation temple, that precipitates World War III is what we're going to look at in chapter 11. There on the slide in front of you, the first temple, Solomon's temple, which David, remember, prepared all the materials for, left the biggest inheritance ever given to a son, and Solomon used that to build the temple. And then Herod's temple, do you remember during Jesus' ministry, he said, destroy this temple, I'll raise it up in 3 days. And the people said, 40 and 6 years, see 20 BC to 26 AD, 40 and 6 years this temple's been built, or been in the process of being built, and you're going to build it in 3 days. So that's how we know how long it took to build that temple. The third temple, right here in Revelation 3, and then the final temple is what we're going to examine when we get to the millennium, when we get to Revelation chapter 20. But here's the significant part. The Bible says that there is a future Jewish temple during the tribulation in Jerusalem. So during the tribulation in Jerusalem is this temple, and this temple is what prompts the entire unleashing of the prophecies about the end of the world. So verse 1 of chapter 11, I was given a reed to measure. John is just seeing and measuring what Jesus saw. Now remember, 4 people see this temple. That's how we know it's going to be there. Now you see, why am I spending so much time talking about this? Because half of all Christians do not believe that there are going to be either one of these temples. They say this is all figurative, it's talking about the church. Yet Jesus said in Matthew 24, when you see the abomination of desolation standing in the temple, flee to the mountains. So Jesus, when he's talking about the birth pangs that we saw about 5 or 6 lessons ago, Matthew 24 and the signs of the end. When Jesus was giving that sermon, he said, as the world is ending, when you see the abomination that causes desolation standing in the temple, flee to the mountains. Jesus saw a tribulation temple. Paul saw the same thing in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Paul said that this one who makes himself God and calls himself God is going to raise up and put an image of himself and cause false worship in a temple in Jerusalem at the end, after the rapture of the church. So Jesus saw this temple, Paul saw this temple, Daniel saw this temple in Daniel chapter 9. He said in Daniel chapter 9, and verses starting in verse 24, and let me get there with you. It says this, Daniel 9:24, 70 weeks are determined for your people. And verse 25, know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the command to restore and build Jerusalem until Messiah the Prince, there shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. So from the rebuilding of the destroyed Solomon temple there's going to be 483 years. Now we know to the day that is truly what happened, because this was destroyed, and then Cyrus sends them back and lets them have the lumber, and you remember Ezra and Nehemiah and Zerubbabel and all that, and they start rebuilding the temple, and 483 years are clocked there. But then it says, keep going to verse 26, and after 62 weeks, Messiah shall be cut off. Now we've gotten to the crucifixion of Christ right here. And Messiah shall be cut off, but not for himself. That's the substitutionary atonement. And the people of the prince who is to come shall destroy the city. Whoa. The people of the prince that is to come. This prince, this person, the Antichrist, so the Antichrist has 33 different names in the Bible. Prince to come is one of them. But look what it says in this verse. But the people of the prince who is to come, that's the tribulation Antichrist, shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. AD 70, who destroyed Herod's temple? The Romans. Now that's where, if you've ever heard of the revived Roman Empire and that the Antichrist is going to be coming out of the revived Roman Empire, it's because Daniel 9:26 says, the people of the prince that will come are the ones who destroyed the temple in AD 70. All that is from this amazing prophecy.